Good evening, everyone. I feel like if we had started this 10 minutes ago, I would have said good day when we were enjoying that beautiful sunset, but here it is, and there it goes. My name's Mike, and I'm going to be your MC and fortunate enough to be your panel moderator this evening. And on behalf of CIBC, it's my pleasure to welcome you to this event in partnership with our friends at Women on Site. And I want one more round for that video and Women on Site. So we're honored to be here today to celebrate and support the skilled trades, a big part of all of your lives, a big part of me and my team's job here at CIBC. And I want to talk a little bit about Women on Site before we bring up all of our panelists, okay? Women on Site was founded by 4 women, Tessa, Costanza, Samara, and Riley, with a clear vision to connect and amplify the voices of women working on job sites across North America. A study by the Women's Policy Research Institute, which I'm fearful that it won't be coming as a surprise to this audience, but it might be a surprise to those outside this room, is that 44% of women in construction have seriously considered leaving their jobs. And the sense that they have is that they're the only ones on site, a sense of not belonging. And obviously that can be deeply discouraging, and it's a key reason why women walk away from a career in the trades, a career that they love and have every right and reason to be in. That's exactly where Women on Site steps in. At the heart of Women on Site is a deep commitment to community building, networking, which I think we're doing a ton of tonight, by the way, having a great time before I got up here, and mentorship. And while some people might write these off as, some would call them soft skills or less important work, I think we all believe in this room that it's actually what keeps women not only in the trades workforce, but thriving in that workforce. So Women on Site is filling what I think we would all agree is a critical gap in this industry. And they're not just helping women stay in roles, like I said, they're helping them thrive. And I think without that, this industry, this sector, isn't going to make it, right? We always hear about how many jobs need to be filled, how many people need to come into the trades. If we can help people enter, thrive, and flourish in the trades, we're not going to get anything built in this country, this province, or this city, okay? So, enough yapping from me, though there will be more, because I have some extremely talented panelists that I'm going to be bringing up. But before I bring them up, I need to just read off all their accomplishments. I'm feeling intimidated now knowing who's about to take the stage with me. First, I'd like to welcome Tessa Fursley, a first-generation Canadian who discovered her passion for construction through her family's values of hard work. She became Canada's youngest female Red Seal Mason at the age of 21. Wow. I think at 21 I had a Red Seal and Super Nintendo and Doritos. Tessa is the Director of Finance at Women on Site and is a recipient as well, and you might wish you had held your applause for a moment. She's a recipient of Canada's Most Powerful Women Top 100 Award winner for 2024 for the work she does in the trades. Tessa, come on up. Sorry, that was your cue. She's like, any more clapping? Welcome. Next, I would like to also welcome Anastasia Plaskos. Anastasia's love for building and craftsmanship began early, working alongside her parents from the age of 7. Once again, at 7, I was not helping my parents build anything. I was probably breaking everything, come to think of it. She is the founder and CEO of Fix It Females, which we're going to hear more about later as well, an all-female renovation company challenging the norms of what is unquestionably a traditionally male-dominated industry. Anastasia, come on up. And last and most certainly not least, I'd like to welcome Jane Durango, a Red Seal carpenter with over 30 years of experience as the owner-operator of a custom home and renovation company based just down the road in Calgary. For the past 4 years, Jane has brought her industry experience into the classroom as an instructor at the School of Construction at the Southern Alberta Institute of Technology, SAIT for short, where she mentors the next generation of trades professional, and she tells me the future is bright. Jane, come on up. All right. I'm really worried I'm going to tip right off this chair. All right, I'm locked in. So I've been doing a lot of yapping. I need to turn it right over to you guys right out the gate. We're going to start with you, Tessa, and go right down the line. We want to know, what was the moment that made you realize that skilled trades was the path that you were going to go down? And of course, what would you say to women who might be where you were many years ago and are thinking about pursuing this career in this path? Tessa?
Yeah, so my moment was a series of small but yet gritty ones. I started in the construction industry at 17, hence why I got my red seal at 21. And I started a masonry company right out of high school, and I did everything from hauling ass with bricks, block, and stone, and mixing big wheelbarrows of mud. And over the course of a summer, I started to notice my physical body changing. I was this weak, scrawny 17-year-old girl and started getting these nasty calluses on my hands. And somehow I was just hooked and drawn in. And I was like, yeah, this is exactly what I want to be doing with my life. But through all of that, I realized that everything that I was, moving, helping masons build, I really saw a tangible thing that was coming out of the hard work that I was showing up for every day. And by the end of the summer, at 17 years old, ready to go into post-secondary or a career, I realized this was it for me. And I don't know exactly if I'm going to stay in masonry or if I'm going to switch careers, but I know I wanted to be in the trades and I wanted to get my hands dirty. And what I want to say to women who are here or thinking about getting into the trades and they feel like they don't belong, I want to say you already do. We all struggle with belonging, but I want you to know that the industry is not made to fit you. You just showing up and taking space allows this industry to evolve, and you just keep doing you, and that's just what's going to happen. And one thing I really realized, and with every wall I've built, with every crew I've ever led, belonging, I've noticed belonging doesn't come from permission, it's built with persistence. So you just got to keep showing up and doing you.
Well said. Very nice of that.
Sorry, that's hard to top.
I'll just leave. Okay, so I kind of was thrown into what I do by my parents. Thanks, guys. My mom ran a flooring company for basically her whole life, and my dad was a part-time contractor. So I did start when I was 7, which is nuts, because I was laying tiles back then, which is why I have bad back and bad knees now. But I think my pivotal moment was probably in my teens, right after high school. I started a small company because I kept working for, no offense, men, that were really...
Many such cases.
that were really
Yeah.
kind of putting me down and, saying I couldn't do things and, this is not the space for you. And I heard that a lot growing up and in the industry that I was in. And I finally thought, okay, I'm meant to take this and run with it and create a safe space for people where they can come and say, hey, Anastasia, we really want a job in this field or this industry. And I could say, yeah, do it. Let's go. Let's get this done. But I think, that was my pivotal moment. And I would say very much the same thing as Tessa, that, just go for it. Just do it. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
I don't know how to follow this up, but my journey started quite a while ago. I was in my mid-20s, and I was underemployed, and I was thinking about, well, I need a job. I just need a job. And I thought, maybe I'll do a firefighting. And it was a bust period in Alberta, and we were on a low cycle, and they said, oh, you'll never make the first recruit, but what you need to do is get a trade, and you'll make the next recruit, no problem. So I pounded the pavement and got a job. And my pivotal moment was when I watched my mentor, boss, I didn't know he was going to be my mentor at the time, but when I saw him with his clients and I saw the work we were doing, I knew I could do it. It's like I just knew I could do it. And when I'm talking to my prospective students at open houses and things, I say, the trades sometimes pick you. And you may not know what the trade will be, because I would be terrible with metal, but I knew the wood trades I could do. And so what I would say as an inspiration is, yes, you can do it, absolutely. And it is the most exciting, challenging career you could imagine. It's really rewarding watching what can happen when you do something for a day and what you built. So go for it. Yeah.
Jane, I want to make sure you know when you specifically just said a moment ago that sometimes or often the trades choose you. I think I heard like 3 dozen. So that one works and sounds 100% true. Stasi, I'm going to come to you for the next question, but I want to make a comment to the crowd. You're all doing a really good job, sort of staring straight ahead. No one's playing with their phone. This is a moment where I'm going to give you permission to take out your phone. And if you're on the socials, you got to go to Fix It Females and follow them. I'm not kidding. I came charging at Anastasia when I got up here like she was a celebrity, because she is. And I have some work going on in my backyard right now, and I'm just going to give you a hint. You'll find it on the socials when you follow her. You'll never look at the Home Depot bucket the same way ever again after you follow Fix It Female. So you have permission to glance away, follow them on social, but then come right back because I'm about to hit her with a zinger here. Anastasia, I want to know, there's probably a lot of myths about women in the trades. I want you to talk about myths that maybe you've had to unlearn, or maybe even more importantly, myths that the industry kind of needs to unlearn or get around or get past, these myths of women in trades.
Yes, you're right. There are a lot. And this was tough for me to kind of pin down. I think one of the myths is that women should not be on site, right? I really had to unlearn that.
Wow.
Like I was like, no, I don't belong here. I can't do this. I'm not a tiler. I shouldn't be here. The guys should be the tilers. I should be taking the phone calls. And I thought like that. And also my upbringing was, anyway, we won't go there, but it was very much like that too. Then I turned out to be
Free
gay.
therapy after this event in the back.
It was a surprise. But I think, yeah, that was the biggest myth for me. I think kind of playing off the social media is what we do, right? Like we kind of pick fun at that. And because all of those scenarios that hopefully you will watch now are true. They actually happened to me or one of my colleagues. And I think it kind of really brings up a lot of that, not negativity, because we turned it into positivity, but I think that was kind of the toughest thing to swallow.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Jane, I want to come to you. When I met Jane earlier at the top of the night, I was immediately like, oh, so you're grooming the next generation of trades professionals, no pressure, right? And she just looked at me like, yeah, I am, it's going to be fine. I want to talk a little bit, you have a perspective that spans across both the classroom and the workplace. What are the classroom and the workplace getting right when it comes to inclusion? I know a lot of our talk right now is like, things could be better, things aren't good in certain pockets, but on the upside, what are we getting right when it comes to inclusion for women in the trades?
I think these Explore Trades programs would be for girls, Explore Trades for girls when they're 9 to 12 years old are probably the best thing that's happening for women in the trades. I would say that for women in the trades of our generation, not much really has changed, but safety is getting better and mental health for men is getting better. So we can evolve. We just have to choose to help women now enter the trades. But I really like these Explore Trades programs, and for STEM as well, because the young women who go to these things are so excited. They have this crazy day building things and all kinds of things. And not every girl is going to pick a tool as their place where they want to work. But every single girl that day will remember that they used tools and had a fun day building something. And that, they don't unlearn that. They've already learned how to use a tool and they got excited about it, and they might look at the buildings different. They might look at the bricks differently. And that might inform their path, whether they choose a trade or not. So it's empowering girls.
I'd say so. So, nice. Sorry, I'd clap, but I feel like it's like thunder claps when I clap with a mic in my hand. Tessa, I'm coming back to you now. You knew this was coming. You're in a building that hosts a bank. So there was bound to be a question about money and finances. I want you to talk about financial barriers that may be holding women back from getting into the trades. And there's some bankers here. I know a couple. We'll take notes, but I get the feeling there's a lot. but hit me with a few barriers that you think are holding people back that a bank could help sort out or be a positive contributor on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think money is a big thing when any young woman or a woman changing careers is and getting into the skilled trades has to really consider before getting into the trades. I think women don't necessarily have the financial network that a lot of our colleagues or men in our life have. And I think the biggest barrier off the hop is the startup gap. And what I mean by that is access to tools, like even if it's a basic set of tools, that costs money, access to childcare and, finding a place to be able to get your kids to and from daycare or school before going to your 7 to 4 or 7 to 6 p.m. job. Just the startup, like even in tools or, gas money to get to a job that's out of town an hour away, because you're not going to say no to the union you just signed up for, because it's make or break in that situation. And a lot of women may not have the financial credit history to be able to get loans or whatnot to front those upfront costs before the first paycheck. So I think, institutions like CIBC, the way that they can help, and I believe the way they will be helping is, through financial literacy partnerships that are tailored to women on site, how we can start getting women from a young age or post-secondary to learn and understand how to invest their money, how to just reasonably budget for certain things. Also apprenticeship tool programs, maybe, a loan, a low interest loan like we do with like line of credits and whatnot, but dedicated and tailored to young people and people who are switching careers, and specifically women in trades.
I like that. Dan, Anastasia and Jane, do you want to jump in on the financial questions? Well, I'm using you as like free market research right now. What else should the banks be doing if you want to jump in?
So when I started my company, I found out pretty shockingly that I had to spend money to make money. And I didn't know how much my employer had to spend to make money. And there's this operating thing. It's like I became a money launderer in a way. And I never
Don't say that too loud. AML's down like 20 floors below us, and they're always listening.
You never know when it's going to stick, but you have to keep spending it. And when you're new in business, those deadlines are the only way you get paid. Yep. So there was no opportunity to borrow that. I felt like I was a hostage to my small amount of money just to make some money. So that was a big barrier.
See that? Anastasia, I'm coming to you now, and you must have won the lottery on this question, because I think this is what we call the magic wand question. Here's the scenario. Replace everyone in this room with their CEOs, construction managers, union heads, people in charge of policy and government, whatever. All the people that can make stuff happen at the top of the house when it comes to the trade sector. You've got the magic wand, you get to boss them around. What are you demanding of this room of powerful people we've convened for you? And you get to tell them what they do next to make life better for women in the trades.
Hire more women.
Okay, easy enough. Thanks, everyone. Thank you for coming.
One
more. Mic drop moment.
Totally, yes. I think that, just to kind of touch on what Jane was saying about this program, I'm not familiar with it, but it sounds wonderful. I think we need to start early on. I think having more hands-on opportunities in high school and grade school. I think I went to a tech school growing up, so I naturally was forced into shop class and doing all these boyish things. And I think if we had, the more academic kind of driven schools to have more trades involved there, I would say that make something like that mandatory.
Yep, I like that.
So that because we don't even know the opportunities that we have. We're told to be nurses and doctors and do this desk job and push this pencil for me. That's what we're said to do, right? And then when you tell someone, no, you can take a saw, destroy this house, and rebuild it yourself.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say.
Tessa, we're coming back to you. when I read a lot of headlines about the trades, it's always just about like, we got to recruit, we got to hire people, get people in. But I think what Women on Site gets really right is it's not just about getting in. You have to be able to stay in the trades, and you have to be able to grow. Like, there has to be a path beyond just like getting your paychecks. So how are you guys supporting women in the trades, and how do you make sure that the industry doesn't just stop at the recruitment part, but like stays involved to help make sure that women in the trades are thriving and have a pathway to promotion and higher earnings and everything else? Because I feel like if we just hire people and say, oh, we hired 100,000 women in the trades, and then we don't focus on the journey thereafter, you can't really call that mission accomplished, right?
Absolutely. And going back to that statistic that you said earlier, that 44% of women within their first year end up leaving, and that is because they don't have a support network, a place to retain them in their industry. And I'm going to be a little bit biased here, but that is Women on Site's #1 market indicator and mission. Women on Site was born out of, selfishly, a need to connect and foster relationships with women in the skilled trades, STEM, agriculture, manufacturing, and transportation, and so on. But also, when you build community with women, you're naturally building a place of retention. When you felt like you were alone, you now have created an ecosystem where you have women in your network that you can lean on, support, and just naturally have a place to fall back on. And that subconsciously keeps women in their industry. So Women on Site has become a really, really special place, and we really try to push retention and show big corporations what we aim to do within their own communities and their own companies, and how, just like in this room right now, I think we have about at least 30 Women on Site members here with us today who are avid, strong WOS members and supporters, and they come to all of our events and they attend our monthly meetups. So our #1 way of supporting women in the industry is through our monthly meetups. We put on across Canada and the United States. We have 17 meetups in Canada and 1 in the United States. Or maybe I'm getting that wrong. Maybe it's 16 and 1. Mm-hmm. And first Wednesday of every month, we meet up, and it's just like this, maybe on a little more casual, laid-back side. There's a little more swearing involved, a little more booze going down the system.
Speak for yourself. I was getting into it up there.
But yeah, you're just kind of shooting the thing with the ladies.
You can say shooting the shit. Okay.
I'm
not on the clock.
We're shooting the shit, and we're building friendships, and through our meetups, and then we put on events in the Toronto area here 3 times a year, and it's just more of an upscale way of bringing this girlhood and sisterhood together. But the other thing I want to say about the retention that's really nice that I've seen, forming Women on Site over the last couple of years, and seeing how exponentially we've grown, is that in every little community that's formed across Canada that we have here, you see these friendships building, and I don't really know how to explain retention other than this right now in the room. You've developed friends that go beyond a place to bitch about, this person that's annoying you at work, or asking for guidance on how to handle an HR situation. But when someone says in the group chat that I'm sick and I'm not feeling well, next thing you know, this girl shows up. What's your address? Let me bring you a care package. I'm making you soup right now. I'm going to single page out here in the room. She just dropped in her group chat the other day. She's got a bunch of Helly Hansen work clothes that she wants to give away to girls for free. That, without knowing that, that's already advancing someone else who may not have the funds to advance themselves, or just someone who really isn't in a position to go buy themselves a new pair of work boots or work pants or whatever it is. We build these little interconnected relationships. And at the end of the day, when you're struggling and you feel all alone, because we're still going to feel alone in this industry, you can just kind of take a breath, and you're going to see all the spammed messages in your WhatsApp. And you're going to remind yourself that, I've got badass bitches to support me in this community.
We'll go.
And that in itself is retention. So I think how the government and other companies can step in is just by taking a little harder look at Women on Site and what we do and what we could do for them. Because I believe if we all power together and we just invest in local retention through friendship and community building, as simple and as silly as that sounds, we're gonna go far.
I agree. I'm still. Anastasia, I'm starting to think the question I asked you doesn't even matter, like getting a bunch of policymakers in the room. We just need to let the girls in the group chat cook. And
What's up?
And things are going to get better.
What's up?
The CEOs, like, I don't know if they can help. All right, the last question. The last question on the panel, well, at least my last question is going to go to Jane, but we're going to open up for questions. So if you've got a question in your mind that you want to ask this esteemed panel, get it ready. I think we've got some mic runners in the back. Yep. So I'll throw the last question to Jane, and then we'll open it up for a couple questions from the audience, okay? So Jane, I'm giving you power as well. It's not to berate the CEOs and policymakers like Anastasia was. What you get to do with this question is write a future headline. I want you to cast yourself out 10 years in the future and write the headline for where and how women in trades will look and sit 10 years from now. And the card says this, I don't know if I want to read it, but they want me to also ask you, what's the price if that headline doesn't come to pass? So I want you to dream about that optimistic future, but then tell us, here's what happens if we don't get there.
Well, being the elder on the panel, I actually know what's going to happen because 30 years ago, there was 4% women in construction. Fast forward to today, it's 5%. That is statistically insignificant growth.
Rounding error.
Okay?
Yep.
So if we don't do anything, this is what we get. There's been research that shows 5 or 6% of us women can handle the culture that we get in the trades. So what we can do is we can connect the women, the 5% women, and this is what Women on Site does best. We connect each other to each other, and then we can mentor and make stronger the next generation, and we will incrementally grow. I cannot imagine an explosion without society changing, but we can incrementally grow our force and strengthen each other so that we are resilient and we become leaders. And then when we're in charge, then we can make it easier and easier and easier. I read some quote, whereas if you're going up the ladder, make sure you're carrying somebody with you. So when I started at SAIT, I had no idea I would be working every day for women in the trade, even though I was a woman in the trade. But it became very clear to me that I had to make room for these girls and make room for each other. And it's amazing to watch what happens at a monthly meetup and the power that happens there.
Nice. Do we have some questions in the audience? Oh, yeah, sorry. Oh, do we have a mic in the back corner? Sorry, and I've got like lights in my eyes, so you might have your hand up right in front of me. If I don't see you, like it's nothing personal.
Thank you so much for your insight. Just something you said, I think it was Tessa about, or one of you about when people are starting out, how they need money. And I remember when I started in HVAC and Milwaukee would have their big sales. And then you said something about funding, one of the ladies. So maybe you can put it, somebody can put it somewhere, because I know there's a lot of sponsorship. Some of these companies, it would help their brand to promote. And I know the trade school I went to, they later gave us tools, but I went through that whole course without the money to buy the tools. So if they could link brands like Milwaukee or whatever, especially when they have their sales and there's a big lineup and there's all these guys who are in the trades, or even small businesses, brands that would like, I work with a lot of hands-on tradesmen who have their own business, who would love to, maybe incorporate the way we're having bros and the ladies at the next meetup, incorporate small businesses who would like to sponsor, put their name on, or be associated with you to give into the new people coming out of trades that are ladies. Maybe you can think of that, I don't know.
100%. I feel like I don't even need to say anything. You just sold it for us. So
That's a business plan.
if anyone wants to get more involved with Women on Site, especially in a local way, and you have a construction company, or you maybe even have a connection to Milwaukee or DeWalt or something like that, and you want to help that local community, and especially maybe young girls or, again, women going into a different career, we are definitely open to the conversation and how we can facilitate that. So if you have a connection or you want to be our spokesperson, just email us at info@womenonsite.ca and we'll get rocking on it.
Great question. Any other questions in the crowd? Don't be shy. Right up in front. Here, you can use my mic.
Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Hope you're doing well tonight. It took me a bit to actually get into the trades. I had a lot of people steering me in other directions. But I'm 28 now. I'm kind of a little bit later in, I would say, my stage of figuring out a career. How would somebody like me possibly get into working with you guys, or, you know, like, I know obviously we're at a networking event, but like, would it be feasible for somebody like me to apply for your company and, you know, potentially get a job with you guys?
I'm gonna jump in before, because you're the employer. But I was 27. I was 27 when I started my apprenticeship.
Look at her now.
I think, like any age, you should kind of go for it. But I think you just have to apply, right? For me specifically, I give everybody a shot. So I always want to give people an opportunity, whether I'm hiring or not. So if you're interested, you can go to the social media. info@fixitfemales.com.
I also want to hop on that and say, I don't know what career you're in, or if you're in our WhatsApp community, but that really is a great place to facilitate like any job leads. We have women who are like, hey, my company's hiring and this and this and that. So we'll make sure to get you to scan the QR code and get in the WhatsApp, and I'm sure magic will happen from there.
I also want in on the WhatsApp.
Yeah, we'll get you on the WhatsApp.
Where's my
I
at?
don't know why you're not in there yet.
You have to scan the QR code.
Okay.
Jane knows what's up.
We have another question right down in front here.
Hi. I am really brand new to this whole trades thing. Even though I have my brother and my father that are mechanics, they both had their stuff, they did their thing. I went to esthetician and spa management, and I did that, but I wasn't getting any result. And I'm a person that wants a business of my own. I want multiple. So I wanted to understand how you guys got your foot in that, especially in a male-dominated trade, and how you kind of got your face in the forefront to kind of be like, hey, apply here. Like, we are doing what we need to do. You're doing great as like a woman-run business. So, because usually it is mostly men that are hiring, and as soon as they see a woman or a female name, they kind of skid away. So, as a person that wants a business in this industry, how would you say, like, to start up? Like, what was your first few tips?
I'll go. I think for me, given the fact that I started my company right away, I was literally in high school running a painting company. So when I first started working for other people, that's what drove me to start my company. And I think that it depends which avenue you want to take, right? You have to learn from someone or something and somewhere. For me, I learned by working for people that at the time demeaned me. I mean, I don't want to say it like that, but let's call a spade a spade. So I feel like I learned through that process, and then I applied all of that knowledge to my company now. And we've been in business for 12 years. I've been in this industry for 23. So, thank you.
So I did it a little differently. I did my apprenticeship first, and that was a 4-year program in Alberta, and I became a carpenter first. The first job for a woman is the pivotal point for you. It is the hardest time for any woman in the trade, is that first job. But once you get the first job, then you'll get a reference, because you'll be amazing. Okay, so that's what really happens at the Calgary Women on Site group, is we basically prop women up until they get their first job. And when I say prop, I mean emotionally. They come and they're like, am I ever gonna get my first job? And everybody has a story about how they got their first job. And the second job is not nearly as hard. So you have an uphill battle at the moment. You gotta network, you gotta work it out. But you sort of have to pick a path. right? You have to pick where you think you want to go in business and then develop the skills around that. Meet the women who are doing that work.
I got one more thing to add to that too, because my story is a little bit different. So, I mean, I've been in masonry. I started off in masonry, and I'm still here. And I started like 17 years old. I signed up. My high school co-op house building teacher told me. I asked him in grade 12. I was sick of everyone in carpentry. I was like, I don't want to be a carpenter. And I did everything from pouring foundations, roofing, drywalling, sorry, Dane. And I was like, I don't care about anything. What makes money? And he's like, oh, masonry makes money. You should sign up for masonry. So off I went. It was time to apply for college. I applied for a bunch of different masonry programs, had no idea what they were. And I ended up landing all of them, and I had to decide what school to go to. But what I did from that moment was I went online and I looked up, small masonry business Ottawa. I took the non-traditional, non-union route in Ottawa, Ontario. That's where I'm still located to this day. And the first company to respond to me and the first company I went to go have a job interview with hired me on the spot, and it's now the company that I part own 10 years later. So you got to start small. Like, you don't have to start at the bottom and work your way up. But what I want to say in that is, like, through, exploring trades, whatever you pick first doesn't have to be your last. But if you feel like this is something that you want to do and you can get in with a smaller company or maybe even the union route that has a smaller business, and just learn the inner workings, like really take in everything that your mentor has to provide for you, absorb that knowledge, show that you're ready to show up, half an hour early, stay half an hour late, and be like, this is what I want to do. And whether you just steal all that information and go do your own business, or maybe have an opportunity where you can start to part own that one and then eventually take it over. That's the route I chose, and I think it's paying off so far. So
Say so. Do we still have time for a couple audience questions? Oh yeah, we better have time because we got at least 3. We'll start in the middle and then maybe out to the corner, and then I saw you right there in the down middle.
Hi. First of all, I want to say you're never too old. I was 44 when I started my apprenticeship.
There you go.
Woo! And
Nice.
the question I have for you, I'm currently supporting OYAP students, and I have a young daughter who is 20, and she's a third year. She just finished level 2 mechanic. And the challenge, goes to the topic of retention. One of the big things I see with independent employers and rather than union negotiated situations is the struggle it is, especially for young people, but women also, is to discuss pay and raises and incremental progressions and knowing that there's a pathway and at what point am I going to achieve what level? How do we change this?
You got to talk. Yeah. You got to just speak up. Because you know what? I will say this openly, that I am guilty of this too sometimes. Yeah. Like, I forget. Like, I'm like, oh, because I do a lot for my staff. I'll take them to games, and we go to Wonderland together, and we do all kinds of fun stuff. And just quickly going to throw this in about the tools. So at Christmas, we do like raffles. We do like huge raffles at Christmas for free tools and free gear. But I think, oh God, I lost my own train of thought now.
How you talk about wages.
Thank you so much. I am hiring, by the way. I think it's very important. I always tell my staff, like I said, I give everybody a chance, and I need you to speak to me. I need you to tell me what's going on. I can't read your mind. If you feel like you're doing a better job than I'm giving you credit for, and you want more money, then just say it. Poof, there it is. And if I don't feel like that, and I'm gonna disagree with you, then we talk about it. But I feel like most women don't speak up enough. They don't say what they want. We don't say it. And I feel like that's the first step.
my perspective as a female employer, like especially being in a non-unionized company, my biggest enemy is the union, unfortunately, in Ottawa. And the way I stay and like provide women or even young men who are coming into my company, we hire like half my crew are success stories from co-op or OYAP students that we convert, you know, into proper apprentices and eventually skilled trades journeymen. And the way we go about it is just like knowing what the union rates are and knowing that we may not be able to match the dollar for dollar, their per hourly, like per diem and their pension and stuff, but we have a different approach. We still have, you know, full right of benefits. We have profit sharing opportunities in our company. and we're going to match as closely as we can to the union. But one thing that we can offer is stability pretty much year round. I think a lot of, and this is no hate to unions, it's different every city you go and every economy you face. But one thing we're facing in Ottawa is that the unions dried up in the masonry world, and there are guys who make $75 an hour who have been laid off since June of last year, and that's prime making time for a bricklayer. So, any young person coming into my company right now, I just tell them, like, you might be a couple dollars less, but you're going to be working a hell of a lot more. And as long as we keep going on this rate, you're definitely going to get your yearly raises, and we're going to keep you matching to the union as much as possible and offer you the room to grow here. I'm only a 10 to 15 person company, so there's no ceiling. Let's just keep going, and let's make a position for you here. So,
I just had one thing to add there. We need to teach our women to advocate for themselves. It's very difficult, and it's one thing it's one of our barriers, is that we feel, well, if I make any noise, they're going to get rid of me. So you need to practice with them, and this is a way corporations can help us. This is part of learning how to get through without feeling you're being taken advantage of. So I encourage you as a parent or a guardian to say, no, you can ask, what is the pathway here? And if there is no pathway, find another job. There are so many jobs in the trades. It doesn't feel that way for women. I appreciate that, but there are, and we're not going to get anywhere. The boys are asking. The men are talking about it. They know how much everybody's making. We just don't ask.
Also, talk about it in your WhatsApp chats.
The WhatsApp chats. I was getting hand signals from the back. I wasn't sure if that was one more question or 1 minute. One more question? Okay.
Hello, Tessa. Hi, everyone. Yeah, my name is Rock from Carpenters Union. It's just a comment to add. Maybe doing a training with CIBC for women on site, the art of negotiating.
I like that.
That would be really good.
Elizabeth, I'm looking at you for that.
I like that a lot. All right, well.
Can we swing one more right there?
Yeah, let's do it. That was a quick one.
For those that don't know me, I'm Paige and I love to talk. So my question is more scenario. So what advice, CIBC, you could take away from this? What advice would you give to a woman who wants to start a family, but there is no light duties in her job? So for example, I am a home framer. There is no light duties in building homes. There isn't. You can't just spend your day sweeping. I would provide no value to my boss, being a carpenter who is a framer. So for me, if I want to have a child, right now that means I have to be laid off. And that to me doesn't seem to be fair. And that is kind of the biggest hurdle, in my opinion, that a woman might face in this industry, is truly, what is your plan, not for mat leave, because I know I will get a mat leave, but what is your plan for women on site while you are making your baby? Because right now, from the ladies I talk to, they have to go on EI or they have to leave the industry, which is also causing an issue in their resume, and they're losing out on their opportunity to learn their craft, and they have to go get another job being a waitress or something else that can accommodate. And typically when you're welcoming a baby into the world, that is a financial, not burden, but it will be expensive.
Oh yeah.
And that is the one topic. I am in the private sector and my boss is incredibly, he's awesome. He has 3 children himself, but those are topics that I think the men don't think about. Mat leave is on their mind for sure, but truly, what are we doing while we are making a baby? And every pregnancy will be different, so every woman will have a different situation. So that's my question. I don't know if that's a question or a statement.
Get on the financial side.
That's a really, that's something I'm still figuring out for myself, Paige. And as someone, who is in a small business just like you, I think discussing with your employer and creating opportunities of where you can make a new position that you can still, like maybe you work the first 5 months of your pregnancy, not light duties, but you can still, cut the wood, pass up some wood, things that you're capable as a strong woman to be able to do with child. And then when you start having the belly on site and stuff like that, like I don't know exactly you've got a great portfolio. I'm sure your skills go far beyond just nailing a nail gun into wooden studs all day. But
I love nailing wood to wood.
like for me personally, I've kind of been building with being an owner of the business over the last 5-6 years. My boss has really seen the potential of maybe one day going on mat leave and stuff. And I've done estimating. I've learned how to estimate. I learned how to, invoice, just general project management, learning AutoCAD, bidding multi-million-dollar projects. So that's kind of where I've stepped in, where not only like mat leave is at the forefront of this vision, but also when winter slows down, what am I doing in the winter that still can make the company money? So all of last November to March of this year, I spent hours and hours bidding big projects that a non-union company has no business bidding. And I actually just landed my first multi-million-dollar job out of town. Yes, thank you. But it's like things like that where it's like maybe in the off months, and I don't know what your forecast of having a family looks like, but maybe it's something you can discuss with your boss, that how can you bring bigger jobs, and how can you like maybe start bidding on commercial work or something that you can provide a value right now in training in the off season that's a little bit slower, but also something that you can do in the background while you're growing a baby.
So my one thing is essentially communicate with the boss.
I think so.
Okay.
Well, and I think you should think hard about it and pitch it. Like, I think you gotta do some work there so that you can sell the benefit to the boss that's a good guy.
Yeah. And depends on the size of the company too. Like there's always social media avenues as well. Yeah. I had a similar situation, and the girl that was working for me at the time, we just created a job for her. Perfect. We're just like, okay, like let's run this social media campaign. She was like, okay, I'll do it. So it's just communication again, right?
Is that why you're so famous on Instagram?
Oh my God. It's like I'm so famous.
Minor
Don't watch my videos.
It was all the pregnant woman.
There you go. The algorithm serving you up. There you
It's
go.
the Home Depot video she just did. The Home Depot bucket.
Never looking at it the same. Well, listen, I'm getting the hook. I want to have a quick round of applause for this amazing panel. Incredible.
Thank you.
You guys are welcome.
Thank you.
Awesome.
As we transition into the I don't know what we call it, the after party or whatever comes next.
I'm ready for the wine now.
I was getting it in you. I guess Anastasia was like, I'm not going to drink until I'm done. I was like, some people have to drink to get through this. So
I did.
yeah, of course, as you should. A small piece of housekeeping before I call up our final speaker. You may have noticed that there are some lovely gift bags here. If you have to jet quickly, please do not leave without your gift bag. We hope you enjoy it. Also, I think, I'm told, though I was mainly hanging out at the bar, there may be tables for women on site in CIBC around here. Possibly. Either way, make sure you stop and grab anything, take anything that's not bolted down, and learn more about Women on Site as well as what CIBC has to offer. We're the only bank in the skilled trades actually giving skilled trades people better offers for their personal banking and their business banking. So take, learn, and run away with anything before we catch you. Before we call it a night at the podium here, I want to bring up Costanza from Women on Site to say a few words.
Okay, I'm going to keep it really, really short and sweet. I just wanted to say a huge thank you to the CIBC team. For us, from Women on Site, this has been nothing but like the craziest dream that we could have ever dreamt. Having the opportunity to work with you guys on this event has really been such an honor. Thank you everyone for being here. I know there are so many returning faces that we see all the time, but it's also so beautiful to see so many new faces and new supporters that are interested in the work that we do and that want to support women in the trades and are really like putting their time into it. And their Tuesday evening, it's not easy. You're missing the Jays games, so thank you for being here. So yeah, I really want to thank Elizabeth, Mike, of course, Riley, Stephanie, and Susanna. You guys we had this in the books as a 5 a 5-year goal. Just this is something we'd thought about at one time. We'd chatted about it, and we were like, yeah, in 5 years, maybe we'll have someone that believes in us enough then. But we started Women on Site in 2002, and so it's been just over 3 years that we've been working on this organization. Samara, Tessa, myself, and Riley, who couldn't be here, she's in the US on a big project. She sends her regards, but our one and only mission has been to support women in the construction, manufacturing, transportation industries, and it's been a very selfish endeavor. Like Tessa said, the 4 of us have felt lonely and like we don't belong and like we're ready to leave the industry altogether because it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like we belong. And so we thought, if we feel these things, certainly there are others out there, and clearly we filled a whole room on the 49th floor of the CIBC tower. So thank you everyone for being here. We're trying to change the industry from the inside. Women on Site is the Trojan horse. We're just gonna infiltrate and make sure that women stay in the jobs that they're so passionate about and that they so clearly belong in. So please, if you have any questions, come find any of us. There are so many people here that have been with the organization from the beginning. We're happy to talk about it, and yeah, thank you for your support.
Well, I don't think I can sign off any better than Costanza did. On behalf of CIBC and Women on Site, thank you everyone for being here tonight, for the thoughtful questions, for our amazing panel. Please stick around, mix, mingle, have a drink, grab your gift bag, and we'll see you all again soon. Hopefully this becomes an annual thing. Am I getting out over my skis? We'll see you next year. There it is. Absolutely. Just tell me where. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.